While Kamala Harris certainly outraised Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election, the real question is which one of the two candidates took the most money from billionaire donors? Well, luckily the Financial Times did their own analysis and the findings are fascinating. So they report that Trump is particularly dependent on US elites, with about a third of the money raised by the campaign and allied groups coming from billionaires, compared to about 6% of the funds raised by Harris-aligned groups. So while Harris did take billionaire money, according to the Financial Times analysis, Donald Trump took far more. In fact, that billionaire money made up about a third of the money he raised for the campaign. Now, billionaires have donated, this is insane, at least $695 million, or about 18% of the total money raised during this election cycle. Now, keep in mind that this analysis was from about a month ago, so they don't have all of the campaign funds included. So the final month of the campaign is not included in this analysis, and the percentages might be out of date, but they're still extremely relevant, especially in Trump's case as the winner of this election, because as my dad likes to say, the cash is talking, okay? And what are these billionaires expecting in return for shelling out all this cash? So real quick, I'll just talk a little bit about who the top billionaire donors have been for Donald Trump. So obviously one of his biggest donors was Elon Musk, but then there's also a billionaire by the name of Timothy Mellon, who gave a whopping $125 million to the Make America Great Again PAC, which of course is the PAC supporting Donald Trump. Now, it's not specifically clear what Mellon wants in exchange for his massive campaign donation, but he was originally a supporter of RFK Jr. He gave RFK Jr. $25 million, or at least $25 million to a PAC supporting RFK Jr. before he dropped out and endorsed Donald Trump. And Mellon has also praised Trump's governance from his first term. So in 2020, during an interview, here's what Mellon had to say about Trump, quote, "He's done the things he promised to, or tried to do the things he promised to in trade and righting the balance between our country and the rest of the world, especially China." Now, we can also piece together what his political ideology is if we follow enough of the breadcrumbs. So in 2015, in his autobiography, he wrote this of government programs, quote, "For delivering their votes in the federal elections, they are awarded with yet more and more freebies. Food stamps, cell phones, WIC payments, Obamacare, and on and on and on. The largesse is funded by the hardworking folks, fewer and fewer in number, who are too honest or too proud to allow themselves to sink into this morass." Now, this is a billionaire heir from the Gilded Age, literally. So it's interesting how he views himself versus people who might have fallen on hard times and might need to rely on government programs that have been funded by we the workers. So Cenk, thoughts?
Yeah, so I saw a different report that had more updated numbers, and they had Tim Mellon at around $170 million and Miriam Adelson at about $137 million. And the count probably keeps going and going because they report more of their spending closer to the election as we go. So first of all, on Tim Mellon, I find his comments there hilarious because he's like, these poors, all they want is the government's largesse, whereas I'm only looking for trillions of dollars in tax cuts. Oh, I see. I see how the poors are the problem. These wealthy heirs have been asking for tax cuts their whole lives, and that's pretty much the only thing they've ever done with their lives. And so the second part that was amusing was he's like, oh, these poor people that are getting welfare, et cetera, they're writing off the work of hardworking people. Brother, you're an heir. What hard work did you do? Your money was left to you from 3 or 4 generations ago, and you sat on your ass giving a lot of it to Republicans so they'll give you bigger tax cuts. As far as I know, that's the only thing you've ever done with your life. So please spare me the fake outrage about how poor people in America have it too good, and you're the one that's suffering, okay? So now what did Miriam Adelson get? We know she got Team Miriam. That's Elise Stefanik, Marco Rubio, Mike Huckabee, and Mike Waltz. They're all neocon warmongers who are going to support Israel. Trump gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom after her husband gave him $200 million in the last 2 elections. And there's one other funny element of that. When asked, why did you give her the Presidential Medal of Freedom when she hasn't done anything in her life? He said, well, it's because she gives a lot to charity. Which charity? Pro-Israel groups. Oh, wow. So a pro-Israel donor bribed you into supporting Israel, and then you gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom for giving a lot of pro-Israel bribes. Wow, that seems like a really compelling case. So guys, overall here, Kamala Harris took tons of money from billionaires and corporations and dark money PACs, and she took more money than Trump, okay? But Trump took a bigger percentage from the billionaires. She raised 6% of her money from billionaires, he raised 34%. If you think Trump thinks, oh, that money's not important, I won't serve them, well, you're empirically incorrect. He's already started to serve them, and Team Miriam is a perfect example. And he said to Elon, his 3rd biggest donor, you get half the government, you cut anything you like. So this is a giant giveaway to the donors in public, in front of everybody's face. And mainstream media and the Democrats won't call it out because they love the donor class. And right wing won't call it out because they love Trump. We're the only ones calling it out.
No, it might be possible that he decided to put his financial weight behind Donald Trump because he already likes some of the things that Trump has to say. He's very much in favor of the anti-immigration measures that Donald Trump is promising to take, including mass deportations. Just to give you an example of something he has said back in the day, this is from 2010. Let's go to graphic 6 here. In 2010, Mellon donated about $1.5 million to the state of Arizona to defend SB 1070, a controversial anti-immigration bill. That was the bill that would allow for police to essentially stop individuals and ask for their papers, okay? So
whether they had any evidence that they were immigrants or citizens.
Oh, that guy looks Latino, let's stop him and ask for his papers.
Yeah, this guy wrote a whole chapter about race in his book. I mean, so he's like, keep America white and rich. Wow, you sound like such a humanitarian.
So, these are the types of billionaire donors we're talking about, right? Other billionaire donors include the Uline family, who gave around $84 million to pro-Trump super PACs. So combined, let's take a look at this. So let's look at this chart, which shows Kamala Harris raised just over $1 billion, and outside groups supporting her campaign raised just shy of $650 million. So Jake, I actually want you to stop real quick and explain what's meant by the outside groups.
Yeah, so when you got messages from her campaign and you gave, or a giant corporation gave, or whatever it was, the corporation can't give directly, they have to give through the PACs, but corporate executives can give to her. So what that was that's her direct money and she can spend it any way she likes. The others are, hey, I maxed out to her, but I want to funnel a lot more money to her, so I'm going to use a PAC to do it. And some release their donors' names, so that's not fine. I hate it, I don't want it at all, but at least you get to see someone where the money came from. Some are dark money PACs, so you can't see where the money came from. And so they're using, remember Kamala Harris back in 2020 when she was pretending to be a progressive, said that she wouldn't take any corporate PAC money. Well, there's about $600 million, not purely corporate PAC money, but a ton, mostly corporate PAC money. So she never meant a word she said. So again, we're honest and principled. The establishment takes giant sums of money from corporate donors and through dark money PACs, but so does Donald Trump.
And when you compare Kamala Harris to Donald Trump, let's put graphic 10 up, please. So as I mentioned, she raised just over $1 billion, and outside groups supported her campaign by raising $650 million on her behalf. With Donald Trump, he raised a little less than $400 million. Outside groups supporting his campaign raised just over $700 million. And both campaigns did receive millions in dark money donations. So late last month, Sludge had reported that super PACs supporting Harris have raised at least $195.8 million from dark money groups this election cycle, while those backing Trump have raised at least $23.2 million, according to a sludge analysis of Federal Election Commission data. So look, I do think it's fascinating to see how Kamala Harris raised so much more money in a much shorter period of time, spent all that money and then some, and it didn't help her win the election. Because even with all that money that can buy you the ads, that can help you run the type of campaign that can persuade hearts and minds, if you don't have a message that resonates with the voters, that money is just gonna go to waste. And I think that's what happened with Kamala Harris. She did not make a case for herself, for the Democratic Party. And so as Democrats lean more and more into this fundraising, and as they pat themselves on the back when they outraise their Republican opponents, keep in mind that that money is typically coming from individuals who have a conflicting agenda from the Democratic base of voters.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna continue being a problem for Democrats. They need to choose wisely, and so far they keep choosing the money.
And not only did the money not help her, it actually was counterproductive, because that's what led her to put all those surrogates all over cable news saying how much she loves corporations.
Exactly, yeah.
And bragging about her letter about all the corporate CEOs supporting her. That was to raise more money. Congratulations, you raised more money and it cost you the election. Super counterproductive. Look, last bit on their hypocrisy here. Democrats keep saying that they're in favor of money out of politics. Are they? Because she took so much more dark money, let alone outside money and PAC money, than Trump did. So the Democrats, when they say they want money out of politics, other than a few people, like in this case, the squad is great on it, Ro Khanna's great, Bernie's great, Jamie Raskin's great. Outside of those guys, they're total liars. They love money in politics. They hope that our politics is drowned in big money that gets them elected. And now Trump, he said, I want to drain the swamp. And he's like, hey, everybody, billionaires, come here, I'm auctioning off the government. You get this, you get that, you get foreign policy, you get all the spending cuts, and get rid of any regulator you don't like that's regulating your businesses, etc. This is an open auction. So finally, 800 billionaires in the country, that's it. Out of 330 million people, there's only 800 billionaires. Microscopic. They gave 18% of all the money that was given to these two candidates. You know what that means? They're not gonna listen to the guy who gave them $5 or even $500 or even $5,000. They're gonna listen to that, where that money came from the 800 billionaires who gave them in such giant chunks that they bought them. And if you're a Democrat and that breaks your heart that Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden are bought, welcome to America. They're totally and utterly bought. And if you're a right winger and you think Trump is pure as the driven snow and he really wants to drain the swamp, brother, you're gonna have a very rude awakening, okay?
I mean, that rude awakening.
You also welcome to America.
That rude awakening should have already come, but okay. Final thing from me. Look, it's all fine and dandy that Miriam Adelson has billions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars to donate to Republican politicians so they carry out what's in the best interests of Israel as opposed to the American people. But she should put a little bit of that money aside so she can reform her hairstyle from the 80s to, I don't know, I'll take the 2010s. I'll take the 2010s.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.